You're listening to the Platte River Bard.
Hello, and welcome to the Platte River Bard. This is Chris Berger.
And I'm Sherry Berger.
And we are here today with the one and only Steve Krambeck, my friend.
Yay!
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Yes, indeed. And we
Happy
are
to be
down
here.
at the Shelterbelt Theater. We are actually in the Shelterbelt Theater right now. He is the director of their upcoming holiday program. It is a very special holiday special. And, of course, Dan is somewhere in the background. Hi, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
He's the executive director, of course. But thanks for talking with us, Steve, and welcome to the podcast.
Finally.
It's the first time I got to talk to you on my podcast.
It's about time.
I'm so excited to be here. Chris and I have known each other for many, many years.
Yes.
How did you meet?
Through a Christmas Carol at Omaha Community Playhouse. We have the Bob Cratchit connection.
We do. We are fellow Bobs. which we had a lot of fun with. And he actually directed me as Bob. Was it my last year? Was it 21?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was my last year as Bob.
Which, that was a super fun journey to see you to see you from the audience as your first Bob and watch you progress that way, and then to get to direct you and watch you progress even further. Like, that was super fun.
Thank you. Well, and honestly, I think 21, and it may have had something to do with your direction, but I think 21 was my favorite Carol year.
Oh,
I think we had the best Cratchit family when I was there. I think
it was a heck of a family.
We had a really good Cratchit family.
You had
that
lots
year.
of good Cratchit kids, though.
All my Cratchit families were very good.
They
They
were.
always did a good job at casting, but I think 21 was my very favorite. I think.
It's hard to...
I remember Jerry and I were talking about that. He's like, I think I like the Cratchit the best this year. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, every one of them is special, but you pick out a few that you're like, oh, I really clicked with this family or that family.
For sure.
It's usually either the first one or the last one.
For
right?
me, it was the last one.
Yeah.
And everybody just really clicked really well. And yeah, just all across the board. It was really nice. And I think the cast in general that year was just, everybody in
Agreed.
the cast was like, just, not like they're not always on it, but it was just kind of extra special that year. And I don't know why. Just one of those years.
Well, I think it was also part of COVID, right? Like, the year before was the mini Carol, right? And so this was everyone's back. And it was back to the normal rehearsal process and back to the normal run schedule. And so that,
exactly right.
you know, it was a kind of a coming home feeling.
So all those other years, you just took them for granted.
No, I didn't take them for granted. No, absolutely not. We had that one year at 19 when right before COVID hit. That
Right before.
something ran through our cast.
Yes.
And we were so sick that year.
Which we were actually cast together in that show.
Yes.
And my daughter was in it. And so I'm very susceptible to respiratory illnesses.
Are you?
That year, I didn't get sick at all.
Were you one of the people that didn't get sick?
Yes, one of the few. Mrs. Cratchit had scarlet fever, for goodness sake.
Literally scarlet fever.
Literal
She had the red
scarlet
marks
fever.
on the side of her neck.
And so I was like, the whole time, I'm like, I'm doomed. When's it my
Wow.
turn? And
I
then
know.
it was closing night, and I was like, wait a minute.
How did you avoid
How did I dodge that like the Matrix? I couldn't believe it.
I don't know how you did, because I wasn't in the cast, and even I got sick because I got it from him.
that? Yeah. Oh, I was so sick.
So, I don't know how that
One of the
worked.
nights, because I was doing Christmas present that year, one of the nights I don't even remember.
Oh, my
I was
gosh.
so sick, I don't remember performing.
Yikes.
And I guess I was fine. I got no complaints, and they're like, you did something weird. And no, they didn't say anything like that. So I was like, all right, cool. Don't remember that performance.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
So there's a Christmas connection between you two.
Yes, we
There
yes,
is.
yes, we
Which
have
is-
spent a few holidays together.
Which is kind of a segue into what we're doing now.
Yes. So how did
Yeah.
you come? Now, we were talking a little bit earlier. You're newish to directing. Of course, you've been acting forever.
That's right.
You've only done a handful of directing things
Yep.
over the recent years. How did you end up as a director for here?
Well, I was fortunate enough that I know a lot of people in the community, and the Shelterbelt, this is their first season back.
Yes.
So they were looking for people who are directing and free for directing. And so they reached out to me and they're like, hey, are you interested?
Nice.
And I was like, ooh, yes, I very much am. And we looked at this project, and it's a very special holiday special is very much Christmas and Hanukkah get together and have fun. Like it's very, very focused on both holidays.
Cool.
And so I thought, I am not Jewish at all. I have no, I have a cursory understanding. So it's like, I don't know if I'm comfortable directing the full show with all of these Jewish, iconography and terms and everything. So I was like, hey, can we find a co-director to help out with that? And so they continued to reach out in the community, and they found D. Scott Glasser, who is a professor at UNO. And he is Jewish faith, and he was very excited to come aboard. And so it's the evening is 8 one-act plays, and we've split it up to 4 intermission and then 4 at the end. Okay. And so he takes 4 and I take 4, and so it's been wonderful working with him. Scott's actually one of my former professors. When I went to UNO, he cast me as Milky White the cow, which is one of my favorite roles. They actually have a Nightmare Milky White website out there, and my costume made the website of like, this Milky White has 6 legs. What's going on here? Because I literally wore a trash can wrapped in a cow outfit. Right? It was. Wow. I loved it. It was one of my favorite roles. I got a standing ovation afterwards.
So were you a dairy cow?
That's
right. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Milky White the cow.
Milky White.
Bugs on her dugs and everything.
Oh my God, that is hysterical. Well, that's kind of cool. You got to work, or you're getting to work with one of your former professors on a project.
Yeah, it's super great.
That's really cool.
Because I have, I went to college, early 2000s, right? And so then he's obviously very busy teaching classes and directing shows, and then I'm taking off with my family and shows that I'm doing, right? So I haven't really gotten to reconnect with him. So it's been really, really great, and just fun to continue learning from an old professor, right? It's so cool.
For sure. Now, who do we have in your cast? Because I think I have I know we know and have worked with a few folks in the cast before.
Oh man, we have an amazing cast. I can't tell you as a director how awesome it was to see some of these people walk into the audition room.
We've got to be satisfying.
Moira Mangiamelli,
fantastic.
Yes,
we have Connie Lee.
Yes,
we have Roz Parr.
Roz.
We have D. Kevin Williams.
Nice.
We have Christopher Scott. And then Nick LeMay. So we have these 6 actors playing all sorts of different characters in these 8 plays throughout the night.
Oh, man.
And we've got a good number that have all 6 of them. Some pieces have only 2 or 3.
Okay.
And so they're pretty active the whole night, but they get a time off here or there.
Sure. Yeah, not everybody's in everything.
Yeah,
which helps for moving set pieces and stuff. So we don't have a lot of stage crew for this show because we'll just have the actors who are not part of the scene, doing the scene transitions and everything.
So how have you? How do you like this space? Have you? Now you haven't been to anything here yet, have you?
I have not.
Okay. So this will be your first experience with the new Shelterbelt.
We kind of talked about it earlier, where it's like you look at things they're doing, and you're like, ooh, I could maybe do that. I might be too old, or I'm probably. You and I are both in that weird space where it's like we're either too old or too young.
Yes, and I've auditioned for stuff. I'm like, well, I'm not right for any of this. But
despite how beautiful we are,
I know,
we just can't quite get into it.
Too much ageism out there.
That's all right. We're just in a weird space.
Well, that's something Scott and I talked about for this show. Is like, this could be really gender agnostic and age agnostic. We could just cast really anyone in all of these different parts. There are some specific parts in the pieces where it's like, okay, this would be definitely an older male presenting actor, or this would be an older woman presenting actor, right? Okay. But for the most part, I mean, we have a piece that's a dog and a cat, so it's like it could be anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right?
Sure. For sure. You really have a piece that's a dog and a cat?
Oh, I don't want to give that away. All right. We got to back up. Poop.
It's all right. No.
And here I thought I'd be safe. Like, there's nothing I would want to give away. But it's like,
tease. That's a tease. You got to come and see.
That's right. They won't know it's coming.
I can take that out if you.
That's okay.
It's no problem.
That's okay.
As long as you won't. Well, maybe we won't give that away either, because who knows?
Who knows?
Milky White the cow may make a performance.
Tune in. You'll have to come and see.
Debut.
Does he still have the costume? We don't know.
I have pictures.
So these are 8 short plays then total.
That's correct.
So, and it lasts 90 minutes.
Well, so this is
Couple hours?
a faux pas on the new director. I haven't really had time to time them.
Oh.
Fair enough.
But they're, some of them are 6 pages, some of them are 3 pages.
Oh, yeah,
right?
super quick
So,
then, yeah.
Very quick.
Okay.
It's not going to be a long night, and it's just,
Okay.
it's so clever. The writing is so clever, and the situations are so clever. We open up with the 3 wise men, but one of the wise men hasn't figured out a gift yet. So they're in a store shopping at the last minute
For a gift for Jesus.
for a gift for Jesus, right?
That's a hilarious premise.
Another one asks, "What if Mary's very Jewish mother shows up to the manger?"
Oh my!
Right? And so
Yes.
the wise men are there
Yes.
presenting the gifts, and in she bursts with a loud energy, and it's like, "What? You invited them? You're not your own mother, right?" Like, very funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, are these? Did you pull these together from various sources, or are these all locally written, or are they new, or what's the deal with all the pieces?
Mark Levine.
Yep, they're all written by Mark Harvey Levine.
Excellent.
And he was actually pretty delighted that we're doing the whole show, all 8 of them, because a lot of people will pick and choose a few of them. And you're giving this look, audience, you can't obviously see, but he's kind of, the wheels are turning. And yes, he's done a lot.
Yeah.
The Shelterbelt has done other shows of his.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a familiar name. Okay.
Yeah. He comes up with these ideas that you're like,
awesome.
oh my gosh, like I never thought of that. And the satirical writing is just so good. Like the scripts that we have to work with are amazing. And then you couple it with this stellar cast, and it's just holy cow. Like,
Yeah. You guys got a heck of a cast going.
I feel so fortunate.
You can't go wrong.
That's awesome.
with the group of folks that you have. I mean, I've had a little bit of experience with the directing, but man, the better the cast you get. And I was just talking with the last director I was with. He's like, 75% of my job is making sure I cast properly. He goes, once I do
Yes.
that, he goes, almost all of my work is done for me as far as the actors, are concerned.
One of my first directing mentors was Blan Roblin, which you know him from Christmas
Absolutely.
Carol as well. He's also part of the Bob connection, right?
Yes, former Bob,
Former
and my
Bob
first
connection.
Bob director.
That's right. And so I first directed with him. He was kind of my very first mentor.
Cool.
And that was a huge thing he told me. We were in auditions, and we just couldn't find a role. And I was like, well, this person was in the room, and they're serviceable. And he's like, no, like, we've got to find. And so we really did the homework and the legwork and the outreach, and casting took 3.5 weeks because we just needed to find someone. And that's what he said. He's like, look, yes, we could settle, but like you said, 75-90% of the job is casting.
It's casting, yes, and it's not something that, as an actor, you stop and think about as much.
Right.
But when it's time to be a director, it's like, man, get as close to it as you possibly can.
Yes.
And not just because it would be less work for the director, but you just want to get the actor as close as you can right off the bat to what the part is.
Well, yeah, if you're starting closer to where you want, right? Like, think that just, you can go even farther.
Yes. And that's the idea, is that you can go farther.
But also selfishly is less work. As a director, you have
true.
so much to deal with,
Fair.
right? If it's like, okay, I'm going to cast this person, and then I don't have to worry because they're going to work with me. They're going to, do some of the legwork themselves.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
This cast has 3 or 4 directors in the cast.
I would say, I know Chris has been directing. Yeah, so
Chris has been directing. Moira's been directing for very years.
Yeah.
DKev, he's been around the block
That's
years
true.
and years. Right, all these people
kinda nice.
could direct. So that's made my job easier.
Yeah.
So I found both to be true. I found, because I just recently started doing directing stuff, and because I'd just been an actor before, just an actor. And
A fantastic actor.
well, thank you. But I never thought I would like directing. I got into it, and the little bit I've done so far, I've really enjoyed. But then gone back to, of course, flip flopping back and forth. And I find that one is oddly helping the other, and that was something. It sounds like a duh moment, like duh, wouldn't you know? But it was something that I just didn't think about. Have you found that to be true as well? As being a director kind of made you a better actor, maybe easier to work with, or something? I don't know. Have you noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed it?
It's certainly, being an actor for so long has helped me step into the director role. You know, I'm very comfortable with the stage, and I kind of, so many years of doing it, you think to yourself, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, but I'm just an actor, so I can't say anything. And, you know, all the shows you're in, it's like, ooh, I maybe would have made a different choice here, right? Well, now I can make those choices.
Yeah.
And you know, the visions that I have now, I can help make come true on stage. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And I haven't done too much since starting directing, but I got to believe, you know, it'll give me an appreciation and allow me, you know, as a director, you have to focus on everything. As an actor, you focus on your business, right?
Part, yeah.
So it'll probably help me focus on my role more. And also, like, I now see, oh man, that actor's off book. This is an amazing feeling for a director. As an actor, I've been pretty bad about getting off book.
Yes.
And so now that I'm on the other side of the table, it's like, oh, shoot, I really should give that gift to other people.
That's something I did notice since I started to do a little bit of directing. I have noticed that as an actor, I get off book sooner.
It's incredible.
You're welcome.
You
Whoever.
don't, and that's not something I thought about as an actor, right? Like and it's not like I'm willfully not doing it. It's, you know, you do what you can, but it just highlighted a little more now that I'm on the other side of the table.
It really did. That's a good point. That's not something I thought about. Can you please get off book? Yes. No, it happens. It happens to all of us. It's okay.
That's right.
Especially
it's
if you
all part of the process.
I know. Well, especially if and you also know how to give certain people a break, because there are certain shows where certain characters just have ridiculous amounts of lines, and it's like, okay, you give those guys a break, or, you know, give those people a break.
Certainly gives me some insight into that, right? Where it's like, look, I know where you're at right now. I know you're frustrated. We're exactly where we need to be, right? Bland again called it, we're in the weeds.
Yes.
Right? This is a normal part of the process. You can feel frustrated, but just accept it and let's keep working.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, I heard that a time or two from him when we were working with Cratchit stuff and all that, and some of the scenes weren't working. He's like, it's all right.
It'll get there.
It's all right.
It'll get there.
It's exactly where it needs to be. I'm like, okay.
We don't open this weekend.
That's right.
You've got time.
That's right. We are not open
I promise.
So with this, you probably don't have that many problems with people not being ready. So you've had a lot of time the plays are shorter, so they've had a good opportunity to come prepared.
Yes. Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
We've been able to take such large leaps forward. So this cast has been a dream. All 6 of them have just been wonderful.
So we've had the luxury of being able to, since everybody is so sort of keyed in and dialed in, just sort of slow down and kind of get maybe a little more picky.
Absolutely. Get
with
picky
stuff.
sooner.
Yeah, sooner.
And it's like, okay, let's just stop. This feels awkward. Do you feel awkward? You look a little awkward. Let's stop everything and just take the time to address it. And we'll talk about it. And, you know, it's a very collaborative process. People are chiming in. Well, here's what I think. It's like, oh, I actually didn't think about that. Wow, let's dwell on that a little bit. So it's been a great room to be a director in. That's cool.
Well, and that says kind of a lot about you, is that you're willing to, as a director, because we've worked with all kinds of directors over the years.
Yes.
Some directors are cool with suggestions and will open up sort of the floor, quote unquote, the floor to suggestions. Some don't.
That's true.
Some don't want your suggestions. They want you to do your best, and if you want to try something, try it. And if they don't like it, they'll tell you. But they don't want that. I think it's interesting that, especially with the room that you have with several directors in your bunch, that you're not all sort of in your head so much that you can't take friendly suggestions from your folks. You know?
Well, and also, you know, my entire cast has been around the block so long. They also understand their role in the show. Yes, they could direct it, but they're not the director in this. So I've really seen that where, you know, they'll pose the question to me and I'll say, gosh, you know, I don't know. What do you think? And they're like, well, you're the director is what they say to me. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So they've been very gracious and helpful for me.
So I take it that that the shows are different enough that it's not like they accidentally fall into their character in another play. Because when we go down to Brownville and we meet all of them and they do that really intensive summer, where they learn five
shows,
full shows by the end, and then play them back to back in random order.
In like the same day.
I'm always thinking it'd be so easy to slip into the wrong character and be like, say something from another play. But it sounds like these plays are different enough and their characters are different enough that they're not going to have that.
Yes, but I mean,
weird.
you can't help but experience that in a night of 8 different plays, right? So in rehearsal, we certainly have that where we have one where it's very accent heavy, and one of the actors is like, I just can't. How do I say this word? I don't. Because the piece we did just before was not accented at all, right?
Sure.
So he didn't have his accent warm up time when we jumped right into the other one. He's like, I need like 2 minutes to repeat my one line that I use to center myself, right?
Yes, for sure. For sure. Just what we used to do with our Christmas Carol accents. We had our little things that we would say to sort of get us into that in that way of speaking. So when we came out on stage, we could sound like everybody else. It's all like, hey, y'all.
Right.
My name's Bob.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
But how fun that has to be for everyone involved, because it sounds like it's just something a little bit different than what they're used to. And it's Christmas time, so it's less stress because they have everything else going on. So
And the material,
timing.
I go back to the material. It's so fun and joyful. There are some serious moments, we see some family tensions, and we see some loneliness at Christmas, so it's not all yucks and laughs, right?
Sure.
So
some different themes.
Mark has really crafted, the playwright, Mark Harvey Levine, has really crafted an excellent through line for the evening of ups and downs and taking you on a journey. I think it's our hope that the audiences will be surprised and delighted and leave with that holiday spirit and good feelings.
I like the combination of Christmas and Hanukkah together. You don't often see sort of Hanukkah themed shows and stuff like that, and I think that's super cool. One of my very best friends growing up, I imagine he still is Jewish, but he was also Jewish then, and I always got invited to Hanukkah every year, and which I thought was fun, and he would invite me over because usually at some point it would be on a weekend, so I would come over. And so I kind of halfway had that for many years as part of my holiday season, and then you go out and you do stuff, and it's like, well, where's all the Hanukkah stuff?
Right.
And it's always so very low key, and I think it's really cool that the Hanukkah part of it has been folded in, especially because you guys are doing this pretty much. God, like all of December?
December 5th through December 22nd.
Yeah, so pretty much all of December.
And one of our pieces actually addresses that. We have a grumpy old Jewish guy who's like, Christmas this and Christmas that. They have all these songs, and what do we have? We got nothing, right? And so it uses the trope of It's a Wonderful Life. So he makes a wish that Hanukkah was more like Christmas, and poof, he gets his wish. And,
fun.
But then he has to deal with the fallout of that, and he ends up going, trying to save Hanukkah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
sounds
awesome.
like
Yeah, we never got the Peanuts Hanukkah holiday special. We just got the Christmas one.
Which features prominently. The Peanuts Christmas special features pretty prominently. This show, again, is so clever. It touches on all these well-known holiday, all the Rankin and Bass stuff. We've got Charlie Brown Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? But it looks at it in such a clever, different light, and like, take this set of characters and put it in this circumstance and see what happens. It's just fun. Great.
Oh, that's cool. I love it. Well, then there's so many fun holiday touchstones that are not, a Christmas Carol. Although, do they touch on Christmas Carol stuff in here? Do you
they
mess
don't.
With Christmas Carol? Really?
They don't, which is really quite nice, right?
I was going to say, that's kind of cool.
It's very cool. This presents something totally different from your Christmas Carol experience. But it's so nice. It's very light and fun, and it's going to be a wonderful time if you come out to see it.
Wonderful.
I love this space. This is a neat space.
Yeah.
The space is awesome.
Yes.
It's changed since the last
I know.
time I've seen
One of the very
it.
first times we came here, it wasn't even nearly this done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
their open house or whatever.
Yeah. It was still kind of in process, so
Yeah.
it's neat to see it completed. Was it the exact last one? But Lizzie
was the last one.
what was the last one, and God, man, everybody just raved and raved and raved about it. I was in
It was so
another show,
good.
and God, I couldn't get out. I tried to get
It
out,
was
I couldn't get
so
out.
good.
But I know, and I think everybody I knew except for me got to come see it. So
And they did have the
everybody's
Voices in Alliance show. They rented the space for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So
That's
that
right.
was
And we talked to
that was
them.
the show that was actually in the space last.
Right, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's why I was kind of.
Which Randall's a very good friend of mine, so I love supporting him. He likes to say that he discovered Steve Krambeck.
That's awesome.
He cast me in a Poseidon adventure decades ago, and we
wow.
haven't looked back.
That's
They're
so
doing
cool.
great work, for sure.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Important, great work.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's nice to see. It's nice to see you again.
Nice
It's
to meet
been-
you.
It was
It's-
great
I don't
to
think
meet
we've
you.
officially met.
I don't think we have,
No,
Sherry.
I think
It's
in all the
lovely to
years-
meet you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think
Nice
we
to
always,
meet you. I think you're related to one of my teachers from school, too.
Maybe.
So, yeah. So
I
it's
get
good
that
that
a lot.
we finally met.
Mike and Pam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I get that a lot. My aunt and uncle.
But no, finally, it's so nice to meet you.
It's so great to meet
I
you.
didn't even think about that. Holy cow! That's right. All those years.
But I think when you came to see Chris, I had to have met you once or twice.
Probably
but
in
it
the
was
receiving
just
line,
a really
but-
quick
Maybe.
hello.
It was probably just a quick, yeah.
But nothing like this.
No, nothing like this.
No, probably just a quick. But no, it's nice. And I know, and it's like you're one of those people during this time of year. That's why I'm so glad you called it, or we got a hold of you. It's like
Yeah.
I'm missing some of my folks that I used to hang out with around
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
time. So it's like, hey, cool, we get to go see Steve.
I
Yeah.
think I do the same thing with Jerry, right? It's just like
I know.
Jerry goes out on tour, not anymore. He's
Yeah.
pretty much retired, but
Yeah.
his thing was to do Christmas Carol, and then he'd go out on tour with Bravo. So like,
Yes.
I'd have Christmas with Jerry, and then I wouldn't see him for the spring and the summer and the fall, right?
I know.
So every winter, I start thinking about Mr. Launch and
Yes.
my good buddy Jerry.
Yes.
Everybody's good.
Yeah, miss some of those folks. I'm certainly glad that I was able to come by and talk to you, and also that we were able to talk about Shelterbelt because we're so glad it's back.
Yes.
So
really
amazing.
glad it's back.
And-
So amazing.
Yes.
And it looks like you guys are just doing well
Mm-hmm.
on everything so far, and that's really nice to see.
Can
The board
feel
has
the
been working
enthusiasm.
really hard to support the show and us. Like, it's a wonderful group of people to work with,
Yeah.
and they love community theater, and they love it and support it, and like it's so important to have a space like this. Their primary focus is new works, right?
I love that. I love
that.
I mean, the old stuff is fine. Old stuff is great,
And you
there's
have
plenty
to
of-
have that
Yeah, you
every
have to
now
have
and
that,
then.
and
Everything
that's
has
kind
its
of a
time,
backbone
yes.
of it.
Yep.
But most people are doing that.
Yeah.
So it's nice when you get places like Shelterbelt that are like, hey, how about the new stuff?
Yeah, and this space is, I think it's a step up from the old space. And
Yeah, you think so too, Dan?
I
yeah.
do.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's leaking.
There's nothing leaking. That's
That's
good.
right. There's fewer head-hitting hazards, right? There
Very
was
good.
that old stairway in the back that you'd have to watch your head for. None of that here.
I did not make it over to the old space. But
It was a very old building.
was it? It was a really
Yes, yes.
I think that was before we kind of got started. and
Probably
stuff.
so. Yeah, probably so.
It's great that Shelterbelt has parking too. I think that's
Yes,
a real thing to talk about
yes.
because people like me are like, oh, the parking.
Yes. It's not like some other theaters where you got to really fight to find a parking space.
Dan is going to join us.
I am. I just
Yay.
also wanted to say our show times are a little different for people who don't know.
Yes,
I was
please.
just gonna
So
speak
we're
on that,
Thursday
yeah.
and Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
So not 7:30, but 7 p.m.
Okay.
Saturday matinees are 2 o'clock. So we're doing Saturday matinees because part of using this beautiful space here in the Omar, there's a church on Sundays. So we do Sunday evenings at 6,
Right.
Saturday matinees at
So you
2.
swap
And if
the
there's an
days.
event, we have an event center in the space. And if they're having an event on Saturday, it's going to be in the evening. So it's really worked out well that when
That's
we're doing
great.
our stuff, the building is pretty empty.
Yeah.
So
That's perfect.
it's been
Okay.
working out. So those are some of the reasons why we have those. But what's good about that is when you're in other shows, that Saturday matinee is your time to be able to come here
Yeah, I'm going to say that makes it, if
It's
you're
like
doing
their
other
industry
shows,
day.
It is.
It is.
And the other thing that we've wanted to do as we started back up is we have a pay what you can option for every performance. So if you go to our website, you're going to see different ticket options. We have a pay it forward. If you're feeling blessed and you want to help keep arts accessible to people, you can buy. It's basically like buying 2 tickets and one of them goes to somebody. Or if you can't afford a ticket but you want to see the shows, we'd rather have people in the seats than somebody who wanted to see a show and couldn't because cost was a barrier.
For sure.
So you book a free ticket, and then when you check out, there's a donate field, and you can put whatever amount you're comfortable with in that field for every single performance. We have about a third of our house for every single performance is reserved for pay what you can seats.
That's really cool.
Are you
That's
doing
really
match
cool.
in December, like with Midlands or Omaha Community Foundation? Are you doing any match promotions right now, or?
Share Omaha,
Okay.
the Giving Tuesday. We do
Okay.
have a Giving Tuesday promotion going on right now.
Good.
So, yeah.
Good. That's good to know.
I had
Always
that
good
all
to
that
talk
on
about.
my list to talk about, but I'm glad Dan stepped up to
that's
the
okay.
mic.
That's
Thank
why I
you.
prepped the extra microphone.
Yeah.
We had to
Yes.
have you.
No, that's
And this is
very
what
nice.
I'm talking about. Like the Shelterbelt, they all have such a love of theater, and so
Yeah.
to keep theater accessible to everyone, I think that's such a beautiful thing to do.
I agree.
But it's also a pretty financially hard thing to do, I think. So if you can pay the full price, and if you can pay it forward, please do, because these people deserve your support.
That's a wonderful option.
I
Yeah.
love that. Pay what you can also and pay it forward. I think that's brilliant.
So, hopefully it works out enough that we can continue to do it. That's our hope. So far, we're working out just fine.
It's doing well. Good,
It's doing
good.
okay.
Good.
It's the balance of free tickets versus, pay it forwards plus people giving what they can. And then you can also add a little donation when you check out.
Sure.
The combination of all of that is working out to really, sustainable. It's sustainable at this point for us. So we're hoping that continues. It's been, it was a grand experiment from our
Right.
point of view. And, and that's just it, as a board getting back together and saying, okay, well, we get to do this, the way we've always wanted to. We're starting back up. We're in a new space, what would make sense? What sounds good? What would you want to do? How do you want to be in the community? We got to make a lot of those choices. And in building out the space, of how we built out the space, all of those things were very conscious decisions, so.
Yeah.
And I love that the community is responding
And
in
the
such a way
support-
that it feels sustainable.
nice.
The
Like,
support
that's
has
nice.
been
I love
really,
that.
really good. And we're thrilled so far. And
That's
it's
great.
I love that.
And you can rent to other theater companies, which is
Right.
awesome as well.
So you guys had
we,
Yeah.
we have, because we're not sharing the space anymore like we used to, and so we have the flexibility to be able to build little spaces within. So,
Right.
like there are collaboration with Voices in Alliance this year, which is really exciting. We're going to continue to do that. I think next year in the fall,
Excellent.
probably
Good.
will
Work
also
with them
be here.
again. Nice.
And Home by Noir, we've got a project coming up with them in January, and we're other small companies like Radio Theater Omaha.
Oh, cool.
Is looking for, we've
Good.
been talking about collaboration with them. We've talked about collaboration with several other companies and other organizations. So we want to be, truly a collaborative space too.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
I'm glad to hear that Radio Theater is doing things. I watch them all the time, and so I've been waiting to
Yeah.
see if they're going to do something.
They're in
more.
a point of reorganization right now while they're working stuff out. We
Okay.
actually did have something on the books for the summer, but then their organization structure changed, and they're reassessing, and they're coming back. But they're definitely
Fair enough.
going to be coming
Good.
back, and hopefully they'll have a space. They'll have a space here to use.
That's
when
wonderful.
They do, so.
But yeah, definitely note the different times. Thursday, Fridays at 7. Saturday
at 2.
at 2 matinees. Saturday matinees. Not Sundays, but Saturday matinees. And then Sunday evenings at 6, you said.
Yes. Yep.
So slightly earlier evening start time on the Sunday, which is nice.
Yeah, that is
Yes.
really nice.
But a Sunday at 6. That's very good to know. I like that. It's different, and I like different.
Yeah.
yeah, Saturday's a tough day, no matter what.
Saturday, yeah, whenever
Because you
always
don't know
had
when the
something
Husker
Saturday
game is
night.
happening.
Yeah.
It is. I mean,
It
there's
can
that.
happen in the
when
afternoon
during
or the evening.
during football season now,
Yeah.
that's it's a concern.
Yeah, it
But
is.
we've actually done okay during football games too. So
Good.
Good.
it's
Good. Certain theaters, man, it's a ghost town on Husker Day.
For sure.
So it's good that you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
Makes me happy our show's in December.
Yes.
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 Not too much football.
No, yeah. No,
Exactly.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I got to talk to you, Steve.
Yes, Chris, it's been awesome. This has been so lovely, reconnecting
glad.
and talking about the show.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Dan, for stepping in.
Yes.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. I've been enjoying myself sitting in the back here, just
I
listening
love
to
it.
you guys because it's so fun.
That's okay. We'll get you on mic here pretty soon.
Yeah.
For some other things.
And please, anytime you guys have anything you guys want to talk about, don't ever hesitate to reach
Absolutely.
out.
Okay.
We are here to help, man.
Awesome.
That's what we do. We're going on year 6.
Year 6.
Yes.
know.
Congratulations.
6
That's
years.
really
Believe that?
impressive.
I
It's
love
crazy.
that for
Yeah,
you guys.
I
That's
do
so
too.
awesome.
We started like 6 months before the pandemic, and we
that was
made
tough.
ourselves mobile. So it's like, we can go to anybody.
Yes.
And then the pandemic happened. It's like, we can't go to anybody.
And then it took me like, I don't know, about a month to find the cord that I need that goes to the computer and research it. So
We
that I
went
can
through like
use it with
3 or 4 chords, I think. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, wrong chord. Send it back.
Although, Chris, I love the choice of onesie you're wearing today.
Thank you
It's
very much.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That holiday onesie, you can't beat that.
He's very on
You
theme.
should have worn it.
listeners.
It's Onesie Sunday.
That's an old Christmas Carol callback. Onesie
You should have
Sunday.
worn it just for fun to see what Steve would
I
do.
should have worn one. I still have my Chewbacca onesie.
And I also appreciate that you guys you're kind of a bridge between communities here because you're sort of in between, and you handle Lincoln and the Loft and Omaha and the surrounding areas, and people are maybe help people become more aware of what else is going on in the
Yes.
not just in Omaha but in the region, because I think that's
So much good work happening.
Well, and
there is so much good work.
Yeah.
And,
there is.
And
yeah.
I love that you're spreading the word of it. Like,
Yeah, that
so
is so
much.
important.
We
Yes.
appreciate
so-
you talking to us.
It's so needed.
Yeah.
It's like, just highlight it and talk about the
It's-
good stuff and
It's
try to get
worthy,
people
all the work
out
everyone does.
into the theater. Get out from Netflix and Amazon and come see live
is
things happen.
Live theater. There is something about sharing
nothing like
a
it.
space with
Oh.
other humans and
Yes.
sharing the experience. Live theater. I've loved it my whole life.
Yeah.
There's
There is
something
it's
you can't put
incredibly
your
special
finger
and
on.
magical. It really is.
Yep. It's even
is.
even beyond, and I know even movie theater attendance is down, and I'm glad to see that theater attendance seems to be bouncing back quicker than movie theater attendance. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And I think that's cool
I think that's great.
because movie theaters are still struggling.
Yeah, I mean, people got used to being at home and watching their stuff during, COVID. It really changed everything.
It did.
And it's easier to not miss the movie as much when you got yourself a big screen TV and surround sound.
And in
you
a
can
few
sit
months, you'll be
you're
able to
home.
watch it. Yeah.
But you can't replicate that with
No.
live theater.
No,
there
that's
is
the great
no
thing.
there is nothing like it. And so those people, that audience were just itching to get back to it. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there was a time I honestly think I didn't know if we ever would. Like
Yeah.
there was a time during COVID
Right.
I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Because Zoom theater was not cutting it.
Oh
No,
no,
it
we tried a
wasn't.
few
Oh,
things,
my
man. That's
gosh.
hard.
Everybody tried. We all tried, and
Gave it
it
the
was
old college
cool.
try.
But it was just like, man,
so hard.
We need to get back
Yeah.
to live.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to get back to live.
But you guys are doing it and you're back.
Yes,
and we're so
we're
happy.
so
you're
grateful
back.
that Shelterbelt is back, and that you guys are focusing on new and different. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Thank
Steve and Dan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Sherry
you.
and
Have a
Chris.
Merry Christmas.
Yes,
Break
Merry-
all
Merry
the legs.
Christmas.
Christmas
Yes,
and
Merry
happy
Happy
Hanukkah.
Happy
And
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Also,
Yes.
the first night of
the
Hanukkah this
world.
year is on December 25th.
Oh,
so
perfect.
it's one of those years where they overlap. So it's
Yeah.
Oh,
going to be.
that's right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on the
Happy
calendar.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Since I come from a blended family, that's always a good thing.
right.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that. I just learned something about Dan.
Wonderful. Well,
right.
thank you. Break all the legs.
Yes.
Thank you.
A very special holiday special. An evening of holiday plays by Mark Harvey Levine opens at Shelterbelt Theater December 5th and runs until December 22nd. Thursdays and Fridays showtimes are at 7 p.m. Saturdays are matinees at 2 p.m. and Sundays are evenings at 6 p.m. For tickets, go to shelterbelt.org. And while you're at their website, check for information on the Pay What You Can and Pay It Forward ticket options.
Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes and join us on social media. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.